Students, welcome. In this video, I'm going to discuss solutions of physics subject in NEET 2024. Just that you would have completed it and the paper was very nice. As a physics teacher, I really liked the paper. In fact, I loved it. Last 3-4 years papers, if you observe, this paper is really, really good as a physics teacher. But I understand for the students, it won't be that much. Probably you might have felt it was slightly weird because it is slightly different from last couple of year papers. And also, generally in social media, they say like from PYQ, this much percent of question should come from NCERT, this kind of question should come as if they are only giving the paper. But in reality, this time, they didn't give that kind of pattern. They didn't go the way it went last year or last couple of years. That's why paper was slightly tougher for most of the students compared to last couple of years. Anyway, as a physics teacher, definitely I liked it because this paper was so balanced that even if you didn't go for any coaching, right, you can get around 15-20 questions. All right. And at the same time, getting full marks, you got to be really lucky in this paper. Okay, let's get into the paper. Let's discuss the solutions. All right. Yeah, so we have question this side. I'll try to explain the solution this side. Let's get into it. Tightly wound 100 turns of coil of radius 10 centimeters, current 7 amperes of magnitude of magnetic field at the center of the coil. They're asking. It's a very straightforward question. But if you go for the options, right? See 4.4, 44, 44 millitesla, 4.4 Tesla. If you observe the options, right, it means that you don't have to do the calculations very accurately. Approximately, you can do it. See that how we do it. So here they had given number of turns 100, n equal to 100. Let me change the color of the pen. So n equal to 100 and current is given as 7 amperes. Radius is 0.1 meter. All right. And we need to find the magnetic field. You know the formula, magnetic field is mu naught Ni by 2R. So mu naught is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 into n is 100 and 7 divided by 2 into 0.1. So that's what you have, 2 pi. 2 pi is approximately 6. 6 sevens are 42, 43. Of course, they had given for 4.4, right? So this multiplied by 7 together, you can write it as 44 by looking at the options. And then the remaining things will be just 10 powers. You have 10 power minus 7. So 10 power minus 7 will go up, it becomes plus 1 and then plus 2. So you're going to have 44 into 10 power minus 4 Tesla. Millitesla, if you go for, it will be 4.4 millitesla. So that's the answer. 4.4 millitesla is the answer. Let's go on to the question. Next question. This is directly from NCERT textbook. You have the table there. In that table, it is mentioned. Straightforward. You see, diamagnetic substance should be having a negative susceptibility because diamagnetism is due to induction. Induction should oppose the cause. And a ferromagnetic substance should have very large susceptibility. For example, soft iron will have about 5,000 susceptibility, very high. Paramagnetic, positive, but slightly lesser value. But anyway, you don't have to look at everything. Just look at a non-magnetic substance that should have 0 susceptibility, right? So D should have 1, all right. Ferro, B should be 3. B should be mapped to 3. If you map only 2 of them, that is enough. That's going to be the answer. Okay, next, let's go to the next question. This question is slightly tricky in the sense they had given the entire loop. So you might think that they are asking question on the entire work done in the entire loop, but they're asking work done by the gas only along the path BC, only along the path BC. And you see BC, here volume is constant. Volume is constant. So the moment you know volume is constant, work done has to be 0. Work done 0 meaning, that's it. Very straightforward. You shouldn't take more than 10 seconds to solve that question. Right, next. Unpolarized light beam strikes a glass surface at Brewster's angle. Then, so it says very straightforward basic theory point. Reflected light will be completely polarized and refracted light will be partially polarized. Answer is 2. Straightforward. Okay, next. So this can be done by just reading NCERT textbook. Ideal transformer. Transformer, this is the easiest question you can get. You know that flux is proportional to number of turns. And so EMF has to be proportional to number of turns. It is there directly in the textbook also. That means Vs by Vp has to be equal to Ns by Np. Ns by Np will be 2 by 1. 2 by 1 meaning 2:1 ratio. So 2:1 ratio is the answer. Okay, next question. This is a very simple question, but they made it complicated by adding A. So that's how I like this question paper, because question is easy, but they made it look like complicated. So don't worry about that column A, just focus on B bar here. 0 giving 1, 1 giving 0, 0 negation 1, 1 negation 0. So directly you can tell it is B bar. Okay, straightforward. Next, seventh question. Vernier calipers n+1 divisions coinciding with n scale of main scale division, then you know that the Vernier constant equal to MSD minus VSD, and it is supposed to be MSD by n+1. MSD they had given how much? One main scale division equal to 0.1 millimeter divided by n+1. That is going to be 1 by 100, 1 by n+1 centimeter. So unit conversion, you got to be a little bit careful. Otherwise, the question is very simple, because 1 by n+1, you have only one option. Even if you miss that, you will get that answer only. There is no other option that you have here. Okay, right. Next question. The maximum elongation of a steel wire of 1 meter length of elastic limit. So elastic limit is given, that is this 8 into 10 power 8. And then Young's modulus is given, that is 2 into 10 power 11. So we know that stress by strain equal to Young's modulus. That means strain equal to stress by Young's modulus. And strain equal to deformation by natural length, that is equal to stress by Young's modulus. So you get deformation equal to sigma L by Y. We want epsilon or deformation maximum, that is going to be sigma max into L by Y. So an elastic limit meaning sigma max, you should know that, right? Elastic limit is sigma max. Sigma max they had given, how much is that? 8 into 10 power 8 divided by Y, 2 into 10 power 11 into 1 meter. So you will get 4 into 10 power minus 3. 4 into 10 power minus 3 meaning 4 millimeter. That's answer. Okay. Next question. This is one question directly, of course, it's not directly from PYQ, but similar to PYQ. This kind of question was there. So how do you solve it? You know that entire F force is moving A and B together with common acceleration. That is Newton's law, writing for both. Now, if you have, let's say, N force here, that's what they're asking. Let's say N is the force there. That N also should provide the same acceleration, but only for MD. It will move only MD. By taking the ratio, N by F equals to MD by MA plus MB. So that is going to be 3 by 5. So F equal to, they had given 10 Newton. If I substitute there, N equal to 3 by 5 into 10 is going to be 6 Newton. 6 Newton is the answer. And next question. If a monochromatic source in Young's double slit experiment is replaced by white light. Yeah, so this question is directly from H.C. Verma, Concepts of Physics by H.C. Verma. You have objective question. If you know it, you will be able to do it. What happens is, the white color is not a single color, it is multicolors, VIITJEE colors, primary colors. So if you take single color, you get one particular fringe pattern. If you have 7 colors, right, all 7 fringes will be formed there, overlapping with each other. So you will get colored fringes. Yes, colored fringes will be formed there. But at the center maximum, because they're all coinciding, every color is combined together, you will get you only white. So central fringe would be a white color, and the remaining would be colored fringes that you're going to get. In fact, white light doesn't have 7 colors only, you have infinite number of colors. 7 colors are the primary colors. Anyway, let's go to the next question. So here, what are they saying? They're asking 1 by lambda square versus kinetic energy expression. Lambda is a de Broglie wavelength. De Broglie wavelength is something very simple, and it comes all the times, almost every time you get it. So you know that kinetic energy equal to P square by 2M. So proportional to P square. And you also know that P equal to H by lambda, meaning it is proportional to 1 by lambda. So if I substitute here, you know that it is proportional to 1 by lambda square. That means kinetic energy is proportional to 1 by lambda square. That means kinetic energy equals to some slope into 1 by lambda square. Otherwise, 1 by lambda square equal to some slope times kinetic energy. Y equal to mx graph. Straight line passing through origin. Very straightforward. Next, in capacitors, you won't get this kind of question. It is the easiest question. Generally, we get in IITJEE, they can give bit tough questions, but in generally NEET examination, they give simple questions only. So you see here, it's a Wheatstone bridge, balanced Wheatstone bridge. 2 by 2 equal to 2 by 2, meaning this capacitor can be removed. Then these two are series 2 to 1, 2 to 1, 1 and 1 parallel. You will get 2 microfarad capacitors. Very straightforward question. Yeah, this question is slightly tough. It's conceptual question. So it is related to electromagnetic induction Lenz's law. Whenever the magnet comes closer to the coil will repel. Whenever the magnet goes away from the coil will attract it. So you need to know that. So you see that this magnet is coming closer to the coil, meaning this experiences repulsion. A repulsion, you have it. Whereas this coil is, for this coil, it is going away from the magnet, meaning this is going to experience attraction. So one coil experiences attraction, other coil experiences repulsion there. In that case, you see, south pole is coming closer. When you want to have repulsion, right? When you have a repulsion, what would happen is you should have like pole there created. Like poles must be very close to each other to get a repulsion there. That means here you get south pole and here you get north pole. So this coil behaves like a magnet with south left side and north this side. You use right hand thumb rule. When north pole is this way, you see that the current goes in this direction, meaning it goes from D and then this way, this way, this way, and then it comes through C. So here current should go from D to C. So this can't be the answer, this can't be the answer. Now look at the other coil here. Because this magnet is going away from it, it will attract. Attraction meaning you should have unlike pole there, meaning south pole, close to the north pole. You have north pole on the other side then. Now use right hand thumb rule. So in the direction of north pole, keep your thumb. You see the curling fingers go this way. That means the current will go from A and then all along to B. So A to B current should go. All right. And D to C. Option is 3. It's a good question that way. So good, definitely rank deciding kind of question this is. Okay, let's go to the next question. This is a solar cell, straightforward. It came earlier in IITJEE mains also in question. Generally, previous IITJEE main questions, theoretical questions, if you go through it, it will be very useful. In this paper, it happened like that. Last couple of years, if you go through the previous JEE main questions theoretical, it will definitely help. So IV characteristic, you know that it will be fourth quadrant. All right. So I don't want to explain the entire theory right now. It is straightforward. In solar cell, what happens? Solar energy will be converted into electric energy. That's fine. That is very simple. Everybody should know it. What about B option? In reverse bias PN junction diode, the current is measured microamperes. That is correct only. But it is due to majority carriers wrong. In reverse bias, current is going to be due to minority carriers. That means B is incorrect. A is correct, B is incorrect. That's going to be the answer. Okay, next. This is a very good question. Excellent question. This can be given even to IIT students. They will definitely struggle to solve it in less than 1 minute. It's not that easy. Of course, it is taken from previous old AIMS questions. So I'll tell you both the methods. One method is the standard method. Other one is a shortcut method. So standard method is what? So you see that the light rays are going tangential to the surface, meaning angle of emergence is 90 degrees. So the angle of incidence has to be critical angle. So whenever the angle of emergence in rarer medium is 90 degrees, denser medium critical angle. And if this is critical angle, this has to be A minus theta C. And A they had given as 90 degrees. Now if you focus on this interface, if you focus on that interface, you see that light rays are coming at an angle 30 degrees and it is going at an angle 90 minus theta C. So apply Snell's law to that. 1 into sine 30 equals to mu into sine of 90 minus theta C. So sine 30 is 1 by 2. That is equal to mu can be written as 1 by sine theta C into sine of 90 minus theta c is cos theta c. It will be cot theta c. So now you take a triangle with theta c being this. Cot theta c has to be 1 by 2. Cot theta c is supposed to be adjacent side by opposite side. So if these two are there, right, you will get the hypotenuse as 1 square plus 2 square under root. That will be root 5. So from there I can calculate sine theta c. Sine theta c will be equal to opposite side by hypotenuse 2 by root 5. Then mu equal to 1 by sine theta c, which is root 5 by 2. This is the answer. It's a good question, definitely. In fact, some lecturers were also arguing like whenever the light ray inside the prism is parallel to the base, then it should undergo minimum deviation. That is not true. It is true only when the prism has an isosceles triangular cross section, otherwise equilateral cross section. Because it is right angle triangle, that's not true. So root 5 by 2 should be the answer. This is the method 1. Shortcut method, you look at it. Shortcut, the students would like it. So you know that refractive index has to be greater than 1, right? Mu is speed in vacuum by speed of light in medium. So speed of light in vacuum is always more. So mu greater than 1. You just choose whichever is greater than 1. Root 3 by 4 you have here. You can write this as root 3 by root 16. So that is less than 1. Root 3 by 2 can be written as root 3 by root 4. That is also less than 1 because denominator is more. Root 5 by 4 can be written as root 5 by root 16. That is also less than 1. Root 5 by 2 is root 5 by root 4. You see that this is more than 1. Only one option is there which is more than 1. Though question is tough, option is very simple to identify it. So if the students were smart enough, they could do it just less than 10-15 seconds. But otherwise, they'll struggle a lot to solve this question. Okay, let's go to the next question. Given below are two statements. One is given assertion and reason. Okay, this is also slightly lengthier side because you should know the potential of a dipole, potential due to a dipole. V equal to Kp cos theta by r square. This is the formula that you should know. Whenever you are considering axial point meaning, let's say dipole is like this. This is axial point where theta equal to 0 degrees. This is also axial point where theta equal to 180 degrees. So dipole is like this. Axial point meaning theta would be either 0 degrees or 180 degrees. So when theta is 0, cos 0 is 1. When theta is 180, cos 180 is going to be minus 1. So potential on the axial point would be plus or minus Kp by r square. When theta is 0 plus, when theta is 180, you will get minus Kp by r square. So this is correct. That means the reason you see V equal to plus or minus 2 Kp by r square, right? They gave 2 Kp by r square, no? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is K. That means our reason is wrong. And then we need to look at the assertion whether that is correct or not, meaning they had given the numerical value calculated plus or minus. K is known to you 9 into 10 power 9 SI units. P they had given, how much they had given? 4 into 10 power minus 6 divided by r square, that is 4. So 4 will cancel out. You will get plus or minus 9 into 10 power 3 volt. So that's the answer. Meaning assertion is correct, the reason is wrong. A is true, R is false. Answer A, 1 here. Okay then. Next question. Moment of inertia with thin rod about an axis. Moment of inertia, it's the easiest question they could ask because they're asking standard question. What is moment of inertia formula? ml square by 12. Now the students, what they will do, right? They will try to convert the units and all that. No need to do it because everything is in CGS units. Even answer is also CGS units. Let's solve it in CGS units only. So mass was given as 400 grams. Length was given as supposed to be calculated L square divided by 12. That is equal to moment of inertia. How much did they give? 2400 gram centimeter square. So zeros will cancel out. 4 8s, 4 6 are 24. 6 into 12 72. So L squared equal to 72. All right, that means L equal to square root of 72. So 6 6 are 36, 8 8s are 64. It is more than 8. 9 nines are 81, less than 9. 8 and 9 in between. So that's the answer you have here. And CGS units only. You don't have to do the entire calculation. Just by looking at the options, you can get it. Yeah, here they're asking terminal voltage. Terminal voltage equal to E minus IR. E minus IR, that is terminal voltage when the battery is discharging. Here it is discharging. Charging, it will be E plus IR. So first let us calculate current here. Current equal to E by capital R plus small r, that is going to be 10 volt divided by 4 plus 1 ohm, which is going to be 2 ampere. Then substitute that in this equation. So terminal voltage equal to EMF 10 volt minus I is 2 ampere we calculated. Internal resistance is 1 ohm. So 2 into 1 is 2. 10 minus 2 is 8 volt. 8 volt is the answer. Okay. Next question. This is a question. When I look at it, right, I tried to solve it completely in detail, but I thought, how can it be so lengthy? If you do it like this, standard, what do you do? 13.6 into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square is the energy of transition. That is equal to 1242 electron volt nanometer by lambda. From there, you have to calculate lambda. It will be very lengthy question. But if you look at the options very carefully, you see that 3 to 2, 4 to 2, 5 to 2, 6 to 2, meaning destination is always 2. Only starting point is changing. And you see that the maximum energy is going to be from here, 6 to 2, maximum transition from highest level to the lowest level. So maximum energy meaning least wavelength should be there. Maximum energy meaning least wavelength should be there. You know that energy equal to hc by lambda inversely proportional to wavelength. Maximum energy should correspond to least wavelength, meaning D should map to 1. D should map to 1, only one option. That's all. You can directly solve it. There is no need to do any calculations here. Just a theoretical question. Even NCERT textbook reading students without any coaching, they could do that. This is directly NCERT points to pointer statements. Take that. The energy of the photon is E equal to h nu, that is correct. Velocity of the photon is C, correct. Momentum of the photon equal to h by lambda, that is equal to h nu by C, that is also correct. In a photon electron collision, total energy has to be conserved, momentum has to be conserved, except in nuclear reactions. Energy will be conserved. In nuclear reactions, mass and energy together has to be conserved. Otherwise, everywhere energy is conserved. So momentum is conserved always. Until today, there is no situation where momentum conservation is violated. Okay. Photon possesses positive charges. That is wrong. Photon is a collection of chargeless, massless particles. Right? Photon is a chargeless, massless particle. Light. Okay, then let's move on. Light contains electromagnetic energy, but photon is not charged particle. That is interesting. So this particular question, probably some teachers were saying that this was from the deleted syllabus and all that. Yeah, so you can say that, but it is related to stability of the nucleus. Radioactivity is taken completely out. It is not actually radioactivity, just stability, alpha decay, beta decay, and all that. So we cannot say that it is completely deleted from the syllabus. But how do we do it? Let us look at it. They gave X 82, 290, and that is finally giving Q. Plus, in addition to that, it is giving alpha particle, then positron, also beta particle, beta minus it is giving, and electron. Electron is nothing but beta minus anyway, we'll write it. So let us say its mass number is A, charge number is Z. Alpha, you know that it is 2, 4. Beta particle will be 1 and 0. And this is minus 1 and 0, minus 1 and 0. So we use conservation of charge number. Conservation of charge number. So 82 before reaction. After reaction, you have Z plus 2 plus 1 minus 1 minus 1. 1, 1 cancel, 2 minus 1 is 1. So Z plus 1 equal to 82, meaning Z equal to 81. Z equal to 81. Either this or this. These two must be wrong. Similarly, conservation of mass number. Conservation of mass number. Either side. In a nuclear reaction, mass number is conserved and charge number is conserved. Okay. 290 is before collision, before the reaction. Finally, you have A plus 4 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0. That means A equal to 290 minus 4, 286. 286. That means answer 2. So very straightforward question that way. A little calculation you will have to do it. This is a question on power. You know that power equal to F bar dot V bar, because they didn't give the angle. We assume them they are collinear. 1D motion we are assuming. In that case, force into velocity. So force they had given. Force they had given as 5 Newton. That is force. Okay. But velocity we have to calculate. So for calculation of velocity, they had given displacement. Displacement equal to 2t minus 1. From there, you can calculate velocity, which is ds by dt, which is going to be differentiation of 2t is 2. The moment I have velocity, now write power. Force is 5 Newton. Velocity is 2 meter per second. You will get 10 watt. 10 watt is the answer. Right? Very good. Simple question only. Right. Next, this question. This similarly, previous IITJEE, previous NEET question, even in IIT also similar kind of questions are given. Just that there it was, of course, you know that it should be a NOT gate. This is NOT gate. This is also NOT gate. Single input when you have, right? Mostly it is NOT gate only for our syllabus point of view. Right. Combined, single input. So when you have A here, you will get A bar. B here, you will get B bar. A bar and B bar are given to NOR gate. So the output Y would be A bar plus B bar. It is R whole bar. So you should know this result. A bar plus B bar equal to AB whole bar. So that is going to be AB, meaning it is AND gate. AND gate. So AND gate is the answer. So I think you would have solved many questions of this point. It is also one of the easier questions that we have. Right. Now this is related to gravity, acceleration due to gravity. Mass of the planet is 1/10 of the Earth and its diameter is half that of the Earth. Then the acceleration due to gravity will be, you know that G equal to Gm by R square. So proportional to mass by radius square. Now G2 by G1 equals to M2 by M1 into R1 by R2 whole square. This kind of ratio kind of questions are very common. So G2 by G1 is 9.8. That is equal to M2 by M1 is 1/10. Mass is 1/10 they have said. Into R2 by R1 is half. Diameter is half, meaning radius is also half. I want R1 by R2, that will be 2. So you will get 4 by 10. 4 by 10 meaning 2 by 5. So G2 will be equal to 9.8 into 2. 19.6 divided by 5. 19.6, approximately 20, right? It's slightly less than 20. 20 by 5 would be 4. It should be slightly less than 4. Slightly less than 4. So you can do approximate calculations very easily here. Next question. Atoms are electrically neutral as they contain equal number of positive and negative charges. That is true. There is nothing to discuss about it. Atoms of each element are stable and emit their characteristic spectrum. So there was some discussion in YouTube and all that, right? Saying that second statement is not exactly correct and there is ambiguity and so on, right? So because NCERT old textbook says, exactly if you take the line, right? According to NCERT old textbook, each atom of element is stable. That is what they said. But in NCERT new textbook, they said most of the atoms are stable, they said. So in the new textbook, they have converted each to most. Now they had it's written here each, meaning according to new NCERT textbook, this is a wrong statement. That's what they are claiming. But I don't think they followed new NCERT textbook, first of all, because even in JEE mains also, there are many questions which came from old NCERT. So we could expect the same kind of trend. That is number one. But if it is not stable, what will happen? It is nuclear reaction. We are not talking about nuclear reaction here. According to my opinion, there is no confusion. They are unnecessarily spilling the beans. It's a very straightforward question that way. We are not dealing with stability of nucleus here because it's about characteristic spectrum. If you look at the statement as a whole, this is perfectly all right. So I'll go with this. Statement A is correct. Statement B is also correct. Both the statements are correct. Answer 3 is the best option, and I'm sure students would have got that. Lecturers are unnecessarily confusing it. Okay, right, let's go to this. This question as such, you see, it is removed, rolling part is removed from newly given NCERT textbook. But old NCERT textbook, rolling is there. JEE mains also they had given questions in rolling. So we were expecting that they can give, they can ask. Our student, we told, rolling, please read. right? Don't go with the new NCERT, go with the old NCERT because of our experience with the mains examination. So, but anyway, question is very simple. There's nothing to discuss about it much. So whenever you have rolling, what happens whenever you have rolling? The point of contact will be at rest. This is at rest. All right. And any other particle will be going. So P is moving, Q is not moving. Obviously, P is going faster than Q. So P moves faster than Q. P moves and Q doesn't move, meaning P is moving faster than Q. So straightforward, there is nothing complicated about it. General students, even for preparing for board examination, they would know it. It's very straightforward. A particle moving with uniform speed in circular path maintains. So I think this is a very standard question, regular question. So in our grant test also, we have given this question because it was floating around. I think you might also have seen this question. So speed constant does not mean velocity constant, because velocity is a vector quantity. You need to look at the direction also. In circular motion, right? Velocity direction is changing. So velocity is changing. And what about acceleration? Uniform circular motion, you have centripetal acceleration. Centripetal acceleration is always directed towards the center. So as it is going in circular path, it is continuously changing direction. So even acceleration is changing direction. Acceleration is changing direction, velocity is changing direction, because they are vector quantities. Even changing direction, meaning they are changing. Both velocity is changing and acceleration is changing. The change is not due to magnitude, but due to direction. So it's also all right. So thin flat circular disc of radius 4.5 centimeters. I was telling that this is IITJEE mains level question. It's not easy to solve it. Few questions will be there of that kind. As I told you, in this paper, getting 180 out of 180 is not easy. You got to be really lucky. So you got to visualize there is a plate like this, circular plate. When you keep it in water and pull it up, right? So the water will rise like this. So water would go like this. All right. So because of that, there will be a surface tension force which is pulling it down all along this perimeter, that circumference. So the force that you are applying has to be more than that surface tension force. Limiting situation, that force has to be equal to surface tension force, which is a surface tension into that circumference. Okay, gamma they had given, that is 7 into 10 power minus 2, 2 pi into r. 2 pi is 3.14 into r is 4.5 into 10 power minus 2. 4.5 into 10 power minus 2. That's what you have. So here you don't have to do the calculations very accurately. Just approximately let us do it. See, 2 into 3.14 is around 6.3, something like that. So 6.3 into 4.5. I'll make this as 6 and that as 5. 6 into 5 will be around 30. So 30 into 7, right? 210, around 210, 200 in that range it should be. So it would be approximately 200 into 10 power minus 4. Remaining 10 power minus 4 is what I have. 200 into 10 power minus 4. So I can write as 20 into 10 power minus 3. 10 power minus 3. So 20 meaning around 19.8 you can take. 10 power minus 3 is millinewton. So that's what you have it. So you don't have to do the calculations also, but the question is good because it requires some visualization how it is being pulled. Yeah, this question also some students were saying it is not exactly within the syllabus and all, but it's simple only. So directly time period equal to 2 pi into root over I by MB. This is the formula you will have to use. And they gave 20 oscillations take 5 seconds. From there I can calculate a time period. Time period will be equal to 5 seconds divided by 20 oscillations. So that will be 1 by 4 seconds. Time period we got it. Now square it and we need to calculate what? Magnetic moment. So square it and take M. M will be equal to 4 pi squared into I divided by B into T squared. This is what you have. So in the option you see pi square is anyway there. You don't have to simplify that. The remaining things you focus on. So that is equal to 4 into pi square. Anyway, keep it aside. Moment of inertia, how much did they give? 9.8 into 10 power minus 6. 9.8 into 10 power minus 6 divided by B, magnetic field, how much did they give? 49 into 10 power minus 3. All right. Then we have t squared. T squared is 1 by 4 square. 1 by 4 square. 4 square will go up. That's what you have here. So let us not do the calculations very accurately. You can take 9.8 as approximately 10. 49 is approximately 50. So that I'm up rounding and this is also up rounding. Overall, they'll balance out. Then you have 4 into 4 squared. 4 4s are 16, 16 4s are 64. So you will get 64 there divided by 50 at the bottom into pi square, you have it as it is, and then 10 power minus 6. This minus 3, when it goes up, it becomes plus 3. And that's what you have. So 64, you can write as 128 by 100. 128 by 100 into pi square into 10 power minus 3. So multiply with 2 either side. So 10 power minus 3, this 100 will become 10 power minus 5. All right, 10 power minus 5. So 125 pi squared into 10 power minus 5. 125 pi square, 128 pi squared into 10 power minus 5. So that's what you have. Answer is okay, but little bit of calculations you will have to do. So of course, 1 or 2 questions are there like that. Okay, next, two bodies A and B of same mass undergo completely inelastic collision. So one-dimensional elastic collision, anyway, that's all right. So inelastic collision, anyway, after collision, they have to go in that direction only anyway. So one is at rest, other is moving. So A was moving with a velocity v1, but B was at rest. After the collision, right? B was at rest. After the collision, both of them go together because it is a perfectly inelastic collision. They're said to be going with the velocity v2. That is the equation you have. A was moving, B is at rest. Together they go afterwards with speed v2. Now they said equal masses, right? Same masses. Ma equal to mb if I keep, right? So m into v1 equals to 2m into v2. M will cancel out. You would require v1 by v2. That is going to be 2 by 1. So 2 by 1 meaning 2:1 is the answer. All right. Okay, this is also a simple question only. This is directly similar kind of question is there in NCERT solved example. There you had cos function, here you have sine function, but it's very simple and straightforward from NCERT solved example. So amplitude they are asking 5 and units are meter. So it cannot be centimeter, it has to be meters only. Then you see t coefficient, omega t equal to pi t. That means omega equal to pi. But omega equal to 2 pi by time period. Pi will cancel out, you will get t equal to 2. So time period is 2 seconds. That means this is the answer you have. Okay, then next. The quantities which have the same dimensions as those of the solid angle are. Solid angle is a supplementary quantity. Supplementary quantities, they don't have dimensions. Right. Along with solid angle, you have plane angle also. That is also supplementary quantity. That will not have the dimensions. But you see, arc will have dimensions of length. Strain is dimensionless quantity because deformation by initial length. Deformation meter, initial length meter, it becomes unitless. So this cannot be the answer. Angular speed has dimension, stress is force per unit area, even that has dimension. Strain has no dimension as we have seen, and also angle. So 3 is the answer. It's a very straightforward. Only those who are preparing only for board examination, they can solve it. A thin spherical shell is charged by some source. The potential difference between the 2 points is, it's a very simple idea. We call it as shell theorem. Okay, shell theorem. What does shell theorem say? In electrostatics, if you talk about uniformly charged spherical shell, inside potential is uniform. Potential inside is uniform. It does not change. It is equal to potential at the center, and the value is kq by radius, kq by r. So because potential is uniform, potential at C minus potential at P has to be 0. There is no potential difference. Potential difference is 0. Electric field is 0. Potential is uniform. Conceptual question. Yeah, bird is a world in a horizontal plane by means of a string with an initial speed omega revolutions per minute. So this omega is not angular velocity, it's a frequency, but anyway, in proportions, it will cancel out. You don't have to worry about it. You know that time, temperature, sorry, here, tension. Tension is actually providing centripetal acceleration, m into omega square r. So proportional to omega square. So T2 by T1 will be equal to omega 2 by omega 1 whole square. So they said omega is doubled. You get 2 square, meaning 4. So T2 equal to 4T1. Very simple question. So you should be able to do that with just board level preparation. Okay, then next. A wire of length L and resistance 100 ohms is divided into 10 equal parts. Question is simple only, current, electricity, but they made it little lengthy. Reading comprehension is also there. We need to understand what they are doing. They took 100 ohms. Total 100 ohms is there. And then they had cut it into 10 parts. So first 10 part they had made it. So each one would be, will have, this is 100 ohms. So this will be 100 by 10 ohm, meaning 10 ohms each. Each piece is 10 ohms. Now first 5 parts they are connected in series. So you take first part and then second part, third part, fourth part, fifth part. They are connected in series. 10 ohm, 10 ohm, 10 ohm, 10 ohm, and then 10 ohm. So totally 10 ohm into 5. That will be 50 ohm resistance. And then what did they do? They took the remaining 5 things connected in parallel. So first one, second, third, fourth, fifth. So these are connected in parallel. Their resistance will be 10 ohms by 5. Their resistance will be 10 ohm by 5. Now they are connected together. 10 ohm by 5 is 2 ohms, right? When they are connected together, right? R effective is going to be equal to this 50 ohms plus 2 ohms. That is going to be 52 ohms. So if you understand the total, whatever they are talking about, it's simple only. Little bit of reading comprehension, otherwise it's straightforward. This is from NCERT textbook directly. As it is, you have P1 greater than P2 greater than P3. And the table only, then the graph itself they had mentioned. So what do you have? You know that PV equal to nRT. All right. I need T. T equal to P by nR into V. So Y equal to mx. Y equal to mx here. Where m, that is the slope you have here, that is going to be P by nR. I'm writing it in terms of T and B here. That means slope is proportional to pressure. Higher the slope, higher is the pressure. You know that first graph will be the steepest. So that will have the maximum pressure. So P1 is greater than P2 greater than P3 because slope of 1 is greater than 2 and that is greater than 3. So it's a straightforward question. Okay, next. A parallel plate capacitor is charged by connected to a battery through a resistor. So it is connected to the battery, right? Connected to the battery, that is important word. Whenever the capacitor is connected to the battery, right? You know that the potential difference will remain constant. So first write that. Potential difference across capacitor is EMF, which is constant because it is connected to battery. Isolated capacitor charge constant, connected to battery, EMF, potential difference is constant. If I is the current in the circuit, then in the gap between the plates. Okay, anyway, they are not talking about the potential difference here. They are talking about current here. It's related to displacement current. All right. This is coming from Maxwell's equation. Maxwell's equation says equation of continuity. Equation of continuity. So what it says is that current in a circuit has to be uniform everywhere. Current in the wire will be drift current. Current between the plates will be displacement current. But whatever is the current, net current at any junction has to be same. Throughout, it should be same current. Current between the plates, displacement current equal to current in the wire, which is drift current, and in the same direction. So what do you get? Displacement current of magnitude equal to I flows in the same direction. So fourth option is correct here. Next. Property which is not of an electromagnetic wave traveling in free space. Speed of light, you know that. Theory of, they originate from the charge moving with uniform speed. That is somewhat little confusing. Uniform speed meaning whether they have acceleration or not, we have to check it because only accelerating charge particles can produce electromagnetic waves. They are transverse in nature, correct. Energy density in electric field is equal to magnetic energy density. That is also, you know, half epsilon naught E square equal to B square by 2 mu naught. That also is known to you. So here, right, for your syllabus, electromagnetic waves are transverse, but there are some cases where you can have longitudinal electromagnetic waves, but that is out of syllabus. Let's not worry about it. So here, out of all, if you go for second option is a most appropriate answer, which is not related to electromagnetic waves. So the charges which are accelerating can produce electromagnetic waves because they said uniform speed. That's a confusion you have here. This is a beautiful question from diodes they had taken. So this question definitely, it's a very good question, conceptual question, again rank deciding kind of a question here. So what is that it's saying? It's a balanced Wheatstone bridge. All right. You know that you have 10 ohms here, 10 ohms here. Equal resistance meaning if you have 15 ohms here, here also you should have 15 ohms. You have 10 ohms, 10 ohms. So here you have 15 ohms. For it to be balanced, right, you should have 15 ohms here also. That is the point that you need to know, right? So this has to be 15 ohms. But you know, you first option they had given. They had given a diode, okay, but that is connected in parallel to 5 ohm resistor, right? So whenever a resistance is connected in parallel, right, the resultant resistance will be less than 5 ohms. It has to be less than 5 ohms. Whenever you have a parallel connection, right? Parallel connection gives resistance less than the individual resistors. I need 15 ohms. That means this cannot be the answer. So this cannot be answer. So that's a very good concept here. Parallel connection resistance will be less, not more. That concept is added here. And next, whenever you have a diode in connected in series, right? Then you can see it can have resistance. Again, it depends on the resistance. How? If it is forward bias, it will have a finite resistance, like smaller resistance or general resistance, like 10 ohm, 15 ohm, 20 ohm, something like that. But whenever it is reverse bias, right, the resistance will be very huge, probably millions of ohms like that. So we need to check which diode has got forward bias. You see here, positive terminal of the battery is connected to N type, meaning this is reverse bias. Over here, positive terminal of the battery is connected. Okay, look at negative terminal. Negative terminal is connected to N. That means this is forward biased. Okay, what about here? Negative terminal is connected to P, meaning this is reverse bias. So reverse bias you should not take because in reverse bias you have millions of ohms resistance. In forward bias you may have little bit resistance. So it is possible in this case the diode may have 10 ohms resistance and resistance that we have added is 5. 10 plus 5, 15. So it could be 15. They said can achieve. What is a possible answer that you have? So very good question. Good IIT advanced level question it can be taken as. So even for IIT student, they will definitely struggle to solve this question with proper logic. Okay, then let's move on. The plates of parallel plate capacitor connected to a battery are removed close to each other, or moved close to each other, not removed. So what happens here? You see connected to battery. Again, it came here connected to battery. Whenever it is connected to battery, you know that potential difference across capacitor, which is EMF, that is constant. And the plates are moved closer to each other. That means D is decreasing. Separation between the plates is decreasing. You know that capacitance is equal to epsilon naught A by D. So when D decreases, right, capacitance as a whole increases. Capacitance increases. So you know that capacitance increases. C option is correct. The charge stored in it increases. Let's look at it. Charge. Charge equal to EMF into capacitance. So capacitance is increasing, meaning charge is increasing. That is also correct. Energy stored in it increases. Energy, what is expression? Energy equal to half CE squared. So C is increasing. That means energy is increasing. But they said energy stored is decreasing. That means second B option is wrong. Next, ratio of charge to its potential remains the same. What is charge to potential difference is going to be capacitor. Capacitor is increasing, but they said capacitance is the same. That means D is wrong. The product of charge to voltage remains the same or increases. So charge to voltage. So charge is C into E, that is CE squared. Because C is increasing, Q into delta V is increasing. That is also correct. So it's also a very good question. A, C, E is the answer. A, C and E. Lot of patience is needed to analyze each and every option. 5 options we have to analyze and then choose the answer. This is also time taking. Definitely a good question. Next, a force defined by F equal to alpha t square plus beta t acts on the particle, then what can we say? Which of them are dimensionless? See, this is principle of homogeneity. You know that dimensions of force must be equal to dimensions of alpha t square, that is equal to dimensions of beta t square. So when you are equating two quantities or when you are adding two quantities, they should be of same dimensions, same nature and same units. And so in that case, dimensions of alpha t squared divided by dimensions of beta t, is it? Yeah, beta t must be m power 0. All right, L power 0 and T power 0. No dimensions. No dimensions. All right. So now you cancel one T. What do you get? Dimensions of alpha T divided by dimensions of beta is supposed to be m power 0, L power 0, T power 0. That means alpha T by beta is a dimensionless quantity. Very good. Nice question this is. Okay, next. Metallic bar of Young's modulus 5 into 10 power 10 and coefficient of linear thermal expansion. This is NCERT solved example kind of a question, but data is slightly varying. So we need to calculate thermal force. First, what do you have? Thermal strain. Thermal strain. That will be alpha delta theta. And then you have stress by strain equal to Young's modulus. And so stress equal to strain into Young's modulus. But stress is force by area. That is equal to strain into Young's modulus. So force equal to area into strain into Young's modulus. That is area into strain is alpha delta theta into Young's modulus. Now substitute the values. What is the area they had given? 10 power minus 3 area. Alpha, how much did they give? 10 power minus 5. Delta theta is 100 minus 0, 100. 100 meaning 10 power 2. Young's modulus 5 into 10 power 10. 5 into 10 power 10. 0.5 into 10 power 11. No? Now you see 10 power minus 3, 10 power minus 5, minus 8, plus 2 meaning minus 6, plus 10 meaning plus 4. So you will have 5 into 10 power 4 Newton. That should be the answer. Now look at the options. 5 into 10 power 4 meaning 50 into 10 power 3. So that's answer. Okay, right. Next. A small telescope. This is also NCERT, right? Objective of focal length 140 and eyepiece of focal length 5 centimeters. A solved example, but data is slightly different. So what do you have? Magnifying power is defined as objective focal length by eye lens focal length. So this is assuming relaxed situation. That's what you have here. So objective focal length is 140 centimeters and eye lens focal length is 5 centimeters. Right? 140 by 5 meaning 280 by 10. So you will get 28 x, they say, meaning 28 times the angular size of the image will be increased as compared to the angular size of the object. That's the meaning of it. Okay, next. An iron bar of length L has a magnetic moment M. It is bent at the middle of its length such that two arms makes an angle 60 degrees with each other. So 60 degrees meaning you could expect it is going to be equilateral triangle. So initially you have a rod like this, let's say, a length L. Now you're going to bend it into an angle. This is L by 2, this is L by 2. And this angle is given as 60 degrees. If you combine these two, this together must be equal and summation has to be 180 if you take all. So you have isosceles triangle and one angle is 60 meaning other angles have to be 60 degrees and 60 degrees. You can check it. It's a very standard value. The moment it became equilateral angle, meaning this length equal to this length equal to this length. Meaning what is the separation between the poles now? It has become L by 2. Earlier separation between the poles is L. Now the separation has become L by 2. When the separation is half, meaning magnetic moment has to be half. That's answer. Okay, next. A 10 microfarad capacitor is connected to 210 volt 50 hertz source as shown in the figure. The P current in the circuit is, again you see P current there was not RMS current. So usually we calculate RMS current. It's got to be very careful here. First let me calculate RMS current. What is IRMS? IRMS equal to ERMS by XC. Only capacitor you have now. So ERMS they had given how much? 210 volts. And XC how much? XC equal to 1 by C omega, that is 1 by C into 2 pi into F. So if I substitute there, it will be ERMS by 1 by C 2 pi F. So it becomes ERMS into C into 2 pi into F. That is going to be RMS current. Once I have RMS current, then peak current. What is peak current you have? That will be root 2 times of IRMS. That will be 2 root 2 pi into ERMS into C into F. So it's a bit calculation. Of course, part B, na, you have some lengthy calculations here. Root 2 is 1.414, 1.4, let us say. 2 root 2 will be approximately 2.8, 2.8. That is 3.14, right? So 2.8 you round as 3. 3.14 as 3. 3 into 3 approximately 9 you will get. This is going to be approximately 9. So in our classes, right, we explain this solving of equations with approximation. It's a very useful skill here. You got to know that very carefully. And ERMS, how much? 210. Capacitance, how much did they give? 10 power minus 5. 10 microfarad. No? Frequency is 50 hertz. So that's what you have here. What you can do is 210, you multiply and divide by 2, you will get 100 here. 210 by 2 will be 105. 9 into 105. 9 into 105 is, let's say, approximately 900. 900 and 100. So around 9,000. 9 into 10 power 4. So you will get approximately 9 into 10 power minus 1. In that order, you will get 0.9 amperes, right? If you are wondering how I've done the calculations approximately, you need to practice. That's very important for NEET examination. Doing approximate calculations is very, very essential. So that's what you get it here. Next, 2 heaters and have power of rating 1 kilowatt and 2 kilowatt respectively. These two are first connected in series and then in parallel to a fixed power source. The ratio of the power output for these two cases is. So this is also very important here. Whenever you connect the bulbs, okay, or the heaters in series, let's say its power is P1 and its power is P2, then effective power is going to be parallel, and then effective power is going to be P1 P2 by P1 plus P2. Whenever you connect the heaters in parallel, right, with P1 and P2, then effective power is going to be P1 plus P2. So explanation I'm not going to give now. That's a relation very standard here. So this is series and that is parallel connection. He's asking the ratio there. So tell me how much is P1 P2 by P1 plus P2? 1 into 2 by 1 plus 2. That is going to be 2 by 3 kilowatt. And what about here? 1 plus 2, that is going to be 3 kilowatt, sorry. Now P series is to P parallel. P series is to P parallel. If you calculate, that will be 2 by 3 is to 3. That is going to be 2 is to 9. So 2 is to 9 is the answer. This is a very standard question. In fact, this particular question we have not exactly 1, 2, but this model we had given it in our grand test examination. I hope our students had completely done that. Anyway, it's a very interesting question. Good question. Even for JEE mains, they can ask that. Okay, velocity versus time graph is given. I was just waiting. Where is velocity time graph? Graph question has to be there, no? Right? Kinematics question. So you see here, slope of VT graph. You should know that slope of VT graph has to be acceleration. Here slope is 0, meaning acceleration 0. Here slope is positive because it is making acute angle less than 90. Slope is positive meaning acceleration is positive. Over here slope is 0, again acceleration is 0. Here slope is negative because it is making obtuse angle. That means acceleration is negative. So directly option 1. Okay, nothing much to discuss here. Very simple, straightforward question, graphical analysis. Okay, now let's look at the 48th question. The mass of the bulb in a simple pendulum is increased to thrice its original value. original mass and its length is made half the original length, then new time period is. So if you look at the time period, right, time period equal to 2 pi into root over L by G. You know, some students have saw that, have seen it, like they have written 2 pi into root over M by K. That is for string, right? It is for simple pendulum they are talking about. So you see the time period is independent of mass. They just gave the mass expression only to confuse you so that you will think in terms of string mass system there. Anyway, that's one thing. So time period is inversely proportional to length. That's all. That means T2 by T1 equals to square root of L2 by L1. So T2 by T1 related to length, no? Half they said, right? It is going to be 1 by root 2. So T2 equal to 1 by root 2 times T1. But they said that is equal to x by 2 times T1. That means x by 2 equals to 1 by root 2. Or x equal to 2 by root 2, which is root 2. So root 2 is the answer. Fourth one is the answer. Okay. Minimum energy required to launch a satellite of mass m from the surface of the Earth of mass M and radius r in circular orbit at altitude 2r from the surface of the Earth is okay. So what is happening? Initially, the particle is at a distance r. That's where the satellite is. Later, what happened? It went to an orbit of radius 3r because altitude they had given 2r. So you got to be careful. Altitude 3r meaning radius is 3r here. So what is the initial energy? Only potential energy, because no kinetic energy initially, that is going to be minus g capital M small m by r. This is 0. Initially it was at rest on the surface of the Earth. What about the final energy? Final energy, you have potential energy as well as kinetic energy because it is going in the orbit. And the total energy in an orbit, you are supposed to know that will be minus g capital M small m by 2r, where r equal to 3r. So that is going to be minus g capital M small m by 6r. So you have the initial energy and final energy. Now, what is the work done by the agent who is supplying this energy? How much energy is supposed to be supplied? That is equal to final energy minus initial energy. What is the increase in energy? So if you take the difference here, common is g capital M small m by r, you take out common. So minus 1 by 6, minus of minus, plus 1. So 1 minus 1 by 6 will give you 5 by 6 g capital M small m by r. G capital M small m by r. So that is going to be the answer. Okay, 50th question. A sheet is placed on a horizontal surface in front of a strong magnetic pole. This is actually H.C. Verma. H.C. Verma. So there are two questions from H.C. Verma objective in this paper. Okay, so whenever it is magnetic, right? For example, iron piece you take, you keep it in front of the magnet, it will automatically attract. In order to keep it there, right, you need to hold it and apply a force. You need to apply a force. Force is needed to hold it whenever you have a magnetic. That means this is correct. But if it is non-magnetic, you don't need to apply any force. Just keep it there, it will be staying like that only. So to hold the sheet which is non-magnetic, you don't require a force. Move the sheet away from the pole with uniform velocity if it is conducting. Yeah. So whenever you have a sheet and conducting, right, you move it in front of the magnet, there will be eddy currents created because of the unsteady magnetic field or motional EMF. All right. So because of that current, right, there will be some magnetic effects there. So it will behave like a magnet. Otherwise, you can look at a BIL force. So in spite of that BIL force, right, if you want to continue to move it with uniform velocity, you need to apply force. That is correct. According to Lenz's law, if you project it and leave it, it will slow down, right? In order to move with constant velocity, you need to apply force. Move the sheet away from the pole with uniform velocity if it is conducting and non-polar. Non-conducting and non-polar. I think non-conducting and non-polar. So if it is non-conducting, you don't have any Lenz effects, otherwise electromagnetic induction effect. Non-polar meaning no magnetic effects. So overall, there will be no force required. So that means A and C is the answer here. All right. So I think we have completed all the questions here. So overall, you see the paper is not easy. At the same time, not very tough also. Definitely compared to last 2-year, 3-year papers, it is slightly tough on the other side. But yeah, that's what it is. When it is tough for everybody. It's not tough for only one, right? So it's always relative performance. You don't have to worry about it. I hope you will get good result. So with that, I'll conclude here. Thank you very much for joining me. Until next time, goodbye.